We're sewing panties today. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from ElizabethMavis.com, helping you sew something creative. If that is up your alley, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Today I'm going to walk you through making the Megan Nielsen Acacia panties. The lovely Akram of Akram's Ideas had this great idea to get a bunch of us vloggers together and do a series of tutorials for you guys about just making simple basic patterns that are available for free on the internet. So we all have our own that we're doing, and I'm going to do the Acacia. And why are we doing that? Because September is National Sewing Month, and so if you've never sewn before, you've been interested in getting into sewing, what's a better way than to see a bunch of people doing stuff that's available for free? Like, just jump into something that you like and just get sewing. So I'm going to show you how to make these panties. It's a simple basic panties pattern. It is available for free on Megan Nielsen's website when you sign up for her newsletter, and I will give you the details of that below. And why is it great? Why is it great? Because making your own panties is really nice. You can use up lots of scraps that you just happen to have of jersey fabrics that you have, or you can upcycle stuff. If you find a t-shirt that is no longer like fitting you or something, but it's got really nice fabric, it feels really nice in your skin, cut that puppy up and make some panties. The other thing that's nice about panties is that you can, they're a great way to get into lingerie sewing. I think going and sewing like a whole bra with like underwires and the whole 9 yards can be a little bit intimidating. There's a lot of elastics to understand about. There's a lot of structure involved, and the fitting can be kind of difficult. And there's a little bit of a learning curve. But with panties, it's something that you can just grab fabric that you have that's just available, that you have scraps of, or those upcycled things, and you can just get to work. The only thing that might be that's a little bit tricky about making panties is finding the right elastic. So I'm going to walk you through the various elastic choices that you have, and you can choose your favorite. There is no wrong answer here. You're just there's lots of choices, and you can experiment and choose whatever feels the best for you. You might change that over time. That's one of the things that's most wonderful about sewing, is that you can just try something out, and if you don't like it, try something another day, and that's how things work. You don't have to be boxed in by whatever somebody else is just giving you, like you do when you go to the store and you're like, oh, these are really nice, but I don't like the elastic. Guess what? You can put your own elastic in there, and it's all up to you. So let me show you the elastic choices, and then let's get into sewing these guys. Okay, so here is a finished pair of Acacias. You can see it has a piece. The crotch piece of this you can use as a contrast piece, or as not a contrast piece. This one I chose to use a contrast, just kind of mess around. I really love that this pattern it's lined on the inside, so there's no pokey bits or like raw edges. So it's just finished really nicely, and you'll see how nicely this goes together. I mean, there's just really good construction here in this particular pattern. Okay, but let's talk elastic. So on this particular pair, I used picot elastic. So the deal with picot elastic is it has a kind of a straight edge, and then it has a decorative edge. So the straight edge, this is the part that we're going to put around the panties themselves, and then the decorative edge is what peeks out of the edges. So you can think picot, peek out. Although that's totally not how it's spelled. Picot is P-I-C-O-T. So what is that, French? Probably. And yeah, pardon my French because it's basically terrible. But it's really, there's lots of different types of picot elastic. It's all very soft, so it's wonderful to use for underwear. There's also this kind. This has a little bit of a wider edge to it, but you can it still has that straight knitted edge, and then the decorative part that's going to peek out of stuff. So it's really nice anytime you have an edge that you want to leave raw. It doesn't leave any kind of bulk on your edges, so it's really wonderful choice for underwear, and it's actually my favorite choice for underwear. Also, you've got plain old knitted elastic. So you can get knitted elastic in packages. I tend to look for it on eBay or other places. I had a really good supplier, and then I think they went away, which made me really sad. But this is like 1/4 inch, and so instead of putting it right at the edge, what we're going to do with this is put it at the edge and then fold it under on itself. So it's going to make kind of like a casing. It's a little bit different to use it like this, but it still works. And if this is the only elastic that you can get your hands on, then it's totally a nice way to start. It's totally a nice way to start. Another good choice is lace. So this is a stretch lace. You can see it's got nice, good recovery to it. And what's lovely about this is that it's very, very thin. So this is really great on waistbands because it doesn't add any bulk at all. So it feels really, really nice against your skin. I don't really like it on legs because this is probably a little bit too wide for a leg. But if you want to put this on a waistband, either like on a slip or the top of panties, this is really a really nice choice for that. The last elastic that I have is called fold over elastic. And why is it called fold over elastic? Because it literally folds over. You can see this is almost a fold over picot elastic. So it has a little indentation in the center, and then it just naturally folds over itself. And then this one has a decorative edge, so it's got that picot edge to it. I'll show you a plain one too. So that's a plain one. You can see the place where it folds. This is really, really excellent for panties. It's a little bit more bulky because you've got the 2 layers of elastic, but it's really great whenever you've got multiple layers kind of coming together. So it's really great for making soft bras, or I've used it before in making little slips with lace and that I've underlined. So I've got the lace plus the underlining. So it's a very tiny waistband kind of thing, which is nice because it doesn't end up cutting into you because it's so thin and lovely. So fold over, I would say of the choices, I would go with either picot or fold over elastic. And then maybe even consider stretch lace for the waist. But those are your elastic choices. Now let's get into the fabric. Okay, so let's talk about what kind of fabric is good for making a pair of panties. So what you want is just something that's gonna have a little bit of recovery to it. It's gonna be kind of, you want it to be, thin but not too thick, but it's gotta have some recovery. So when I say recovery, I mean if you pull it, it's gonna stretch back. You see how it just bounced back like that? So this is a tri-blend fabric. So it is part rayon, part polyester, part cotton. So it's a really nice t-shirt fabric. It's a kind of a newer blend that's been out for a couple years, and it's really nice. I think it's going to make a nice pair of panties. Another good choice is like a rayon jersey. You might have a little bit of harder time with the rayon jersey because it's got a lot more stretch to it, but you can see again, when I pull it, it's got good stretch back. It's very soft to the touch. It's got good recovery, so this is good. So for this particular one, I'm going to use the rayon as the inside gusset and the tri-blend for the outside gusset and for the front and the back. So those are good choices. So this is cotton jersey, and it's got a little bit of spandex to it too. So you can see, like when I pull on it, it's gonna snap right back. What's not good to use is cotton interlock. So you can see this is 100% cotton, which feels nice. You think it's going to be a good idea, but when I stretch on it, you see how it didn't come back. It actually almost stretched out of shape. You see that those little stars are just all kind of wonky. So this is going to be a lot more challenging to use. So definitely stay away from something like this. Keep it for t-shirts, something simple, something that's going to have you'll be a lot happier, I think, with the edges of your bindings for this. Another thing that you might want to stay away from is ITY. This is 100% polyester, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you can see it's very, very slippery. It's got a lot of movement. It's got tons and tons of recovery, which is awesome. I mean, it's like almost like a rubber band. But what's going to happen is that it's almost too slippery to work with for panties, in my opinion. And I think too, because it's got so much stretch in it, you're going to have to either size down the pattern, or it's good as you wear it, it's just kind of spread out and just not be the best look on you. So I would stay away from ITY for panties. Okay, so let's get to cutting, and I will show you one more option. So another choice to consider is double brushed poly. You can get this a lot of different places. This one I got from Cali Fabrics. It has nice, good recovery. It is super, super soft. It's wonderful. You see this on a lot of people making it in leggings, and it is just, oh, it's so, so soft. So I'm going to use this for the front and the back, and the outside gusset for another pair. And I will also, and I'm going to use a different contrast for the inside. So let me get to cutting this. Okay, so previously I had put these on top of my fabric, and you can see this is my double brush poly that I talked about earlier, and the fabric is going this direction. It has more stretch this way than it does this way. There's almost very little stretch going that way, and that is really important because when we go to put it around our body, we want it to stretch all the way around. So if the stretch is going the opposite direction, it's not going to stretch properly. So definitely. And it's not necessarily a stripe has to be going one way or another. There's stripes that go vertically and there's stripes that go horizontally on a striped knit fabric, and it's something that you just have to kind of figure out. So I put my pattern piece down there and I cut around it with my good old rotary cutter, and then so I've got one front and then two gussets. So I cut one of a thin cotton jersey, and that's going to go on the inside, and then this is going to go on the outside, and then I've also got a back piece there. So those are all of the pieces that we need besides our elastic. And you can see too that on the elastic I went ahead and wrote down exactly the numbers of how much elastic that I needed. So 2 rounds of leg elastic, 49 centimeters, and 64 centimeters of waist elastic times 1. So I've cut that of all of my different types of elastic, and I am ready to get sewing. Let's go to the sewing machine and show you how to put together an Acacia. Yay! So now we're going to start putting this together. So I've got my back piece here, and I'm going to grab the back, the outside gusset. I'm going to put it right sides together, right there, and I'm going to pin it. And I'm also going to take the front side of this. So here's my front piece. I'm going to put this on the other side of the gusset. Give that a pin. So we want to stitch right there. And we also want to stitch right there. So we're stitching the gusset basically on both sides. So we're stitching the gusset on both sides, just like that. So now we gotta sew our pieces together. Make sure you're using a stretch needle. That will help you get the best stitch. And go ahead and set your machine for a zigzag stitch of 0.5 width and 2.5 length. So now we've got our gusset seams ready to go, and we're just going to stitch them with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So bring those edges together and wrap that needle down into the fabric, lower your presser foot, and we're going to stitch the side seams, not the side seams, we're going to stitch the gusset seams. So we're going to sew the front gusset to the front piece and the back side of the gusset to the back piece. So sewing down one side, keeping the edges even, stitching with that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Take out that pin, don't sew over pins. And now we've got the seam sewn, and now you can see everything's connected, but now we need to add the inside gusset. So if I sew it like this, then you're going to have bulky seams and everything's going to poke you. So here's what we're going to do. Bring everything to the right side, and we're going to fold that back piece towards the gusset. So now I can see my seam allowance, and fold the front side towards the gusset so I can see my seam allowance again, and I'm going to cover over those seam allowances with my second gusset piece. So pin that in place, pin the other side in place, and now we're going to stitch the inside gusset to the rest of the panties with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to go right over that same stitching line that I stitched before. So it's kind of funny to sew the gusset twice, but what we're doing is connecting that second gusset piece from the inside out. And this is just a magical technique, and it's a really cool thing once you learn how to do it. So go ahead and drop your needle, and let's sew that gusset piece together. So keep those edges even, and we're just going to sew with that same 1/4 inch seam allowance down one side of the gusset. And we're going to sew that second gusset over that same stitching line that we did earlier. So bring those edges together and let's stitch away. Take out your pin. Don't sew over pins. Clip those threads. Alright, so now you want to pull those parts out, and they just kind of magically pop out, and you'll see that, wow, we just got this nice clean edge on the inside. There's no pokey bits. It's going to be lovely. Everything's nice and finished, and wow, it looks great. Okay, so if you want to, you can run a basting line down the sides of the gusset, and that's going to keep those sides together, but I'll show you that in another step. So we'll skip that for right now, and let's sew the side seam. So bring the front side to the back side, and we're going to sew right down the side seam. So keeping those edges even, let's sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Keep them even. Sew the 1/4 inch. Clip those threads. We're going to sew the other side seam. You can totally do this with a serger, but if you're just starting out, you probably just have a sewing machine, and that is just okay. I actually like doing it with my sewing machine because of the next step. So if you want to, now press that seam towards one side, and we're just going to run a top stitch down really close to where you stitched before, and that's going to flatten out that seam. It's going to make it nice. It's going to be just nice and flat on the inside, and it's not going to poke you at all when you go to wear it. So really nice finish. Plus it's comfortable. Who doesn't want comfortable? But that's an optional step if you want. You can see, like, look how nice and flat it is, and just, yeah, it looks nice. So now the panties are done themselves, but what we need to do is add the elastic. So bring the side seams together, and that we're going to 1/4 off everything. So I've got a washable marker, and I'm going to mark the sides that are flat together, and those are my 1/4 marks. So I've got the side seams plus those 2 marks that I made. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the legs. So I have the side seam, that's one of my 1/4s, and then bring the edges together and mark that side, and then bring the marks together, and then 1/4 those off. So we're kind of just dividing the big circle into 4 pieces. And we're going to do the same thing with the elastic. So fold it in half, mark it, and bring the ends to the mark and mark those folded edges, and that gives you the 1/4. So we're going to do that for all the elastic pieces and all of the openings. So now I've got my picot elastic. I am going to start it just past that first mark. I've set my machine to a zigzag stitch of 3.5 width and 2.0 length. That's a nice size for this particular step. I'm going to drop my needle down, and I'm just going to start stitching just to anchor the elastic. And now I want to stretch only the elastic and bring the 1/4 marking to the 1/4 marking on the top of the waistband. So see, I've got my first side seam, and I'm going to match that first little marking. right there, and keep on stitching. Do not stretch the panties, only stretch the elastic. This will keep everything nice and clean, and it'll keep the fabric from distorting. Nobody wants stretched out panties. That looks terrible. So make sure you're just stretching the elastic. Keep on stitching, keep on going around, stretching only the elastic. You can see that picot edge is just peeking out of the top of the panties, which is exactly what we want it to do. That flat edge is getting covered by the fabric. So I'm working from the right side of the fabric when I'm working with picot. I'm stretching only the elastic and stitching, 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 bringing those quarter marks together. This will make sure too that the elastic is evenly stretched all the way around the elastic. The elastic is smaller than the panties themselves, and that means that it's going to flatten to your waist, which is what you want. So now we're really close to the end of the elastic, and what I want to do is stretch the elastic just past the point where we started to stitch. And that will finish off the top of it. And this is, I like to do this on the panties themselves instead of sewing it in a circle first. It just makes it a little bit simpler. So now we need to do the same thing with the leg, but first let's baste those edges of the gusset to the outside of the panties. So I'm just going really close to the edge, and I'm just going to stitch just down the side so that those two edges are connected together. That means that those two layers will get sewn to the elastic without anything shifting on the inside. So same thing, start on one of the ends and bring it just past that quarter mark. Start your stitching, and then bring the quarters to the quarters. So quarters on the panties to the quarters on the elastic. There's more curve in the legs than there is on the elastic, so just be aware of that. Just make sure that you keep on just covering over that straight edge of the elastic with the panties, and keep on stretching quarter mark to quarter mark. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to stitch over the end of the elastic. Just stretch it past the point where you started when you get close to the end, and go ahead and back stitch over that last edge when you have passed the point where you've sewn everything there. So we're sewing a circle on the panties as we do it. Just makes it a little bit simpler. And again, make sure that you're only stretching elastic. Okay, I'm going to finish that guy off by stretching the elastic just past that point where I started stitching. And I'm going to back stitch over my last couple stitches to make sure that that elastic is nice and secure. And go ahead and repeat that for the second leg. So let's say that you have only the braided elastic. Apply it the same way that you just did, except apply it to the inside of the fabric and then fold it back over on itself so it's all on the inside, and then stitch all the way around with that same zigzag stitch that you just did for the picot. So 3.5 width, 2.0 length. And it makes not as nice of a finish, but it's still really good. So that's all you have. So let's talk about fold over elastic. So we're going to apply the elastic the same way, except fold over elastic has two layers. So I'm going to grab my fold over elastic. I've got my quarter markings just the same as I did before, and I am going to bring you need to fold it over on itself. So the inside of the fabric is going to be in between the two layers of elastic, and I'm going to use a 3-step zigzag. So this is a different stitch on your machine. It still has that good recovery, so it's not going to snap on you, and it also is really good because it's super wide, and it's going to encase both of those layers it's going to encase the fabric inside of the elastic, no problem. So to start it out, I've got my fold over, and I am going to put the edge of it even with the indentation that's on the fold over elastic, and I'm going to fold it over on itself. That's why it's called fold over elastic. Ha ha ha. Okay, starting the stitch with my 3-step zigzag stitch, and I am just going to keep on matching those quarter marks to the quarter marks, stretching only elastic, and you want to just keep folding over the elastic and keeping that raw edge of the waistband to the indentation. It looks complicated, but it's actually really easy to sew, especially when you use that 3-step zigzag. And it's just a really nice finish when you get down to it. And so I did the same thing for the legs. So you want to apply the elastic the same way. So we're just doing the waistband. We are gonna end this a little bit different than we did with the picot elastic, which I will show you in a little bit. So keep on going around that waistband, triple stitching that zigzag, stretch only the elastic, keep that raw edge to the indentation. Okay, so now, but when you get to the last couple inches, let's bring the edge of the indentation to where you started stitching. So I've got my little indentation free right there. And that way I only have to I'm going to anchor that down. So, and then I'm just going to finish off those last couple inches. And that just makes so that I'm going to have a nice clean finish on that last little bit. Because you've got the 2 layers, if you just stretch it like we did the elastic beforehand, sometimes you can get an edge that's a little weird. So, but very quickly, we've made all these different undies. And they look great, and that's how you deal with all of the elastic, and boom, you just sewed underwear today. Yay! If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. And go check out all the other people that are making these wonderful free patterns. I myself am really looking forward to seeing what my friends are up to. So I will see you in the next video. Go sew something creative today. Bye! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed making the Megan Nielsen Acacia panties. There's lots of other cool stuff here on Elizabeth Made This, so go check it out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!